Yo, dudes. Start with this one. Market. They're the people that come up with the numbers for CDSs and all that. It's hard to understand most of it. Anyway, this one's easy to understand. These are mortgage-backed security things, AAA, but based on subprime. Yeah, it's still out there. They still trade these things. And this goes back to the end of last year, 2010, not long ago. So this is this year's action. And as you can see, it was holding on at about 42 cents on the dollar. And it's really been plunging lately compared to 42. It's down now to 35. It's getting crunchy out there for some reason. The banks' assets, collateral, are losing their values. And this is why the bank stocks are getting clobbered. This one looks similar, and it is similar, but it's CMBS, commercial mortgage-backed securities, AAA tranches. They were up to 98 at one time, but they've dropped down to 92. It just shows that there is definite shakiness afoot in the psychology out there, and it's trembling through the markets. People ain't happy. Right. Walk away from your mortgage, ? Time to get ruthless. CNN Money. We've been watching this for a while now, that the banks will foreclose on you before you can say bibble, but people feel honour bound to pay their mortgages. Well, less and less it seems. No way, say, an increasing number of underwater homeowners who are voluntarily choosing to walk away. They're getting over it, and they are doing what is financially the most advantageous thing to do, and sometimes it's walk away. So they are increasingly walking away from their mortgages, which of course they can do much easier in the United States of America than they can over here in Europe, where most mortgages are recourse, and they'll come and nail your life down for them. Sticking in America and household debt, Clear on Money gives us this chart: total credit market liabilities, mortgage debt, consumer credit, going back to 1952, and it goes uppity up until obviously this credit crunch that we got in the number one link there kicked in, and it starts turning down again. But presumably Clear on Money has put these fancy dotted lines in to give us a trend line from 40% of disposable income to well over 100%. But I think that's a meaningless nonsense. It's not as though that can keep going forever, is it? I mean, it's not just something that keeps going and going. It's not inflation adjusted or anything. It's percentage of disposable income. I mean, you can only take it so far. So I don't think those trend lines are going to mean anything at all, and those both will be no reason at all that they won't come plunging well down below those pretty little dotted lines. Forbes gives us, we've left the United States and we've gone to China. China plans cash for clunkers to beat weak sales. Shanghai, China says it plans to pay up to nearly $2,800, a lot for over there, for old vehicles headed to the scrap heap in a move aimed at perking up slumping sales. I think people are getting a bit worried about China as well. I mean, it's got so much momentum, surely it can't just go stop. But certainly the authorities are certainly trying to go, whoa boy, whoa boy. Right, arabnews.com, 16 Saudi nuclear reactors to cost $300 billion. Jeddah. Saudi Arabia is planning to build 16 nuclear reactors over the next 20 years at a cost of more than $300 billion, according to a top official. Abdul Ghani bin Melabari, coordinator of scientific collaboration at King Abdullah City for Atomic and Renewable Energy, also said that the arrangements were being made to offer the project for international bidding, and the winning company, imagine one company, really could only be French or Japanese, should satisfy the kingdom's need for modern technology. Presumably have to work out where to get the cooling from as well. I suppose they'll all have to be on the coast. What do you think of that? Saudi getting 16 nuclear reactors. We'll never get to see, because we'll part probably before then, but my betting is they'll never see one of those nuclear reactors. The downside of Germany's nuclear phase-out. This is a Der Spiegel article. Most Germans support Chancellor Angela Merkel's decision to phase out nuclear energy in the wake of the Fukushima disaster, but not all the consequences will be welcome. A new study shows that the country's emission reduction targets may not be met, and electricity bills may rise as well. And that may not be met, it can be read as a will not be met, and electricity bills may rise is electricity bills will rise. This last one, Yanis Varoufakis, The Greek Crisis and the Threat to Political Liberalism, a cautionary tale for Ireland, Portugal, and the whole of Europe, and the whole of the world. It's nothing we haven't heard before, but seeing it's our last one, I'd like to concentrate on this one. So Yanis writes, my tale, this is a Greek man, but you probably got that from his name. My tale begins about 9 weeks ago. From April 2010 till 9 weeks ago, I was a regular invitee on public TV and radio, ERT, the Greek public broadcaster, ever since my criticism of the government's policies intensified about a year ago. Every time I went on ERT's TV, studio technicians would approach me in disbelief that I was being invited. I paid no attention, even though their incredulity was becoming louder and more intense. It was about March when the CEO of ERT called me into his office to announce that he wanted me not only to appear regularly on the TV current affairs programmes, but also to present my own programme after the main news bulletin, offering a running commentary on the unfolding crisis. His kind offer made me think that the technician's musings were verging on the paranoid. Though accepting his offer would entail a huge workload, I promised to send him some ideas on the matter, which I promptly did. During the days that followed, I continued to appear as a commentator on the variety of ERT's TV programmes. A few days later, I was waiting for the CEO's response. I received a phone call from a producer of one of these programmes. The message took me by surprise. We have received an order from up on high to exclude you from all TV shows, but we'll be damned if we'll comply. This is Greeks kicking back a bit. Can you come tonight? I want to rub their faces in it. Naturally, I went. Indeed, I kept appearing on ERT TV for quite a few days after that, until a new phone call came informing me, informally of course, that they could no longer defy the powers that be. And I thanked the caller and said that I very much appreciate their resistance and think no ill of their eventual capitulation. Now, the article goes on a bit more detail of what happened. But it's a lesson, isn't it? And I think we know what has happened in the past. This sort of thing is happening now. It won't just be Greece, and we can suspect what will happen in the future. So I'm sorry to push that article at you, but it's something that we can't forget, that we think we're living in some sort of, I don't know what we think, I can't speak for you, but some sort of free Western democracy or something, and there's nothing free in this Western democracy at all. It's a complete contrived con, quite frankly, and as things go wrong and various people admit that they've got to lie to us because it's for our best interest that they've got in heart, the worse it can possibly get. If the people eventually do lose faith in these powers that be, these people up on high, all sorts of nasty things happen. And we don't want that, do we? But I think bugger all we can do about it. These things will go on happening, and if things start or continue to get worse, this sort of thing will get worse as well. And not only will we get economic and unemployment collapse and all sorts of things, civil liberties get crunched down upon, police start hitting you on the head, throwing you in jail, closing down your channel and all that sort of thing. And that sort of thing's nasty, eh? Because you can't put a few gold pieces away to block that, because that eventually breaks its way in through your front door. Bye.